Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, we have some new artwork in the back, and I'm going to actually be talking about that today. Not just that, but also some other form of art that I'm incorporating with it. And as you can see, we have a little rat with us because I have to watch her. But I still have to film a video. So she is just gonna be sitting there. Oh my gosh. So this new project, I'm calling it David, and I will get into why, but I have this notebook that I've been using, my sketchbook, my phone, just a lot of different resources to kind of put this vision that I had in my head out onto paper. I'm going to tell you guys my initial thought process and just kind of like what inspired this new vision of a project. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. So first things first, this vision kind of started, I would say, in like April, and right now it's June. So like 2 months ago, I had a lot of different signs kind of telling me that I wanted to do some art with statues or like paint a statue, or I was just really intrigued with statues. Another big thing that I love is when artists reference other art forms in their own art. So I wanted to like reference statues, which is an art form that I don't do, but kind of do it in my style, which is painting or in songwriting. That was the first thought. Stemming from my first thought was the thought of the Statue of David, which is like one of the most famous statues, as many people know. I love Italy, and he is in Italy, I think. And I just like really love how like perfect it is kind of what I was thinking of. I also feel like if there's like a character, like a Bible character that I would relate to, it would be David. I feel like personally I have a lot of the same like interests creatively, as well as just like similar personality wise. I feel like that kind of gave me the idea of the Statue of David. So this vision first started with me making a charcoal version of just the head of the Statue of David. I'll show that to you guys. So I never really finished it, but as you can see, I really like took my time on the hair. Just really liked just the statue work, the detail in his hair, but also his face. Like, I don't know how someone could carve that. Like, it was hard for me to draw that. I don't know how someone could literally carve that out of marble. So I did that at school in art class. And then I started another project at home. I don't even know what I was thinking, but it kind of was like statue-like human, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it yet. Then I kept seeing videos like everywhere about David and like the symbolism of the statue, not just like that it's like the sign of perfection, but just like the self-improvement advice you can get from the Statue of David. So I actually wrote them in my sketchbook. One day I sat outside and I was just feeling really like kind of bad about myself in a way, like behind, and I needed to try harder to make a good song and like all that stuff. But I feel like just sitting outside kind of reset my mind and just helped me like connect to what I really am doing this for, which is it's for me to express myself. You are feeling like just putting too much pressure on your creativity. I think it's important to just kind of reconnect with what's real, because those fears aren't like physically real, but I feel like connecting to the grass or just like something tangible that makes you feel calm really helps your creativity flow. So ignore the toy and ignore this little beast behind me. Basically how I start is I draw little shapes and then I just list ideas. So I just have ideas that spew out of my head onto the page, and I just write them down because I know that at some point I might use a certain idea that I wrote down somewhere, or I might not, but like at least I wrote it down because it could lead me to another good idea. So I knew I wanted to name it David, both the song. So as you can see, I wrote song, art, because that's kind of what I want to do. Because I like doing art a lot, and I also love doing songs and writing in general. I want to like combine them, so I'll have a song that means something, art that like translates to the song, if that makes sense. So first step, I drew like the Statue of David pose. I don't know why I thought the hand would like work like that, but it's the beginning sketch, so it's fine. So I basically just drew like kind of his pose, and I said me/David, because I realized I wanted to have me in the place of David the statue. So from that point, I just kept trying to come up with metaphors. I knew from the beginning I wanted to have the statue cracking to symbolize something. The main metaphor of David is David was already in the stone marble. I just had to remove the excess. So basically, Michelangelo, the guy that carved David, saw this like flawed piece of marble that multiple people had worked on. And he said, I didn't carve David out. David was already in it. I just peeled away the layers. You can kind of see from this thought process, I went to like peeling back the layers to reveal what's trapped within. I don't even know like the order, because I just kind of like spew it all over the page. But I was like, okay, how can I take this main Michelangelo statement, make it into my own metaphor that connects with me? So I said, I have been trying to find myself always. And I scratched out recently because I feel like I've always. And I try to remove what I think is not me, but I wonder if it does more harm than good, or if I'm just removing actual parts of me instead of what I deem as like not parts of me. That was the beginning metaphor. I don't know if it'll stay the same in the song or like the actual artwork itself, but that was the main idea that I came up with at first. In David's statue, he's holding the sling that he uses to kill Goliath, but I was like, I want to be holding what Michelangelo used to carve David to create the cracks. Like, I am carving my own self, and I'm causing myself harm by trying to be perfect. That's actually a good point. Let me get a pen. See, like, kind of sparks. So I'm gonna write carving myself, but hurting. What did I even say? Hurting myself in the process to become perfect. That's definitely not what I said, but any little idea I try to write down because I know one day or at some point I will try to use it. So I wanted the main idea of the song to connect with the art. This is not really connected to David, but this is where I do my songwriting. I just get a notebook and I do the same thing that I did in the sketchbook. I come up with a problem, some ideas, then I try to make a chorus. Then from the chorus, I'm like, okay, I want different rhythms, and I just spew it all over the page. It's like everywhere. But I eventually get it down and I just keep rewriting it. And I eventually get to some sort of clarity, but you never know where your songwriting will take you. And you never know how your songwriting smells to some people. Now, we're going over to the new artwork. Before you see it, I wanted to say I did like a little photo shoot. I actually used a flashlight, which is down here. And like when you're taking photos for artwork, you kind of need to have something similar to an object if you're not painting the exact object. So I used this in my photo to kind of represent the little whittler thing. So I did this and I took many angles. Like sometimes I was tilted to the side, like a side profile, but I ended up choosing this one because this photo was the most like the David statue pose. Besides the way his head was tilted, the carving tool, like everything about this is the same. Like this arm is the same, etc. So that was really important to me because I wanted to reference David. I didn't want it to just be a statue. If I'm gonna call it David, it needs to reference the statue, if that makes sense. So yeah, I wanted it to be in that position, but it ended up working for the way I wanted him to crack based off of the whittler. So as you can see, I'm almost in this photo. This used to be a flashlight, but like I did the Whittler almost like touching this collarbone area, and it's gonna like fractal down the rest of the statue. So this actually benefits my vision, because originally I was gonna want it down the arm or over the back, but I feel like if it goes down the middle, it shows that it's actually cracking maybe my heart or like my inner being, like the center of who I am, kind of. That has a better meaning than a like,
my arm shattering, oh no.
So as you can see, I made my hair like David's. I added like little David. What is different though, is my head is down. I've really done like my research about the reasons for different Michelangelo choices in the statue of David. He wanted the statue to be facing with his face out, looking at his opponent, I think, Goliath. And he wanted him to have this confident look right before he went to battle. Because a lot of people back then wanted to depict David after the victory, but Michelangelo wanted to do it before. So he wanted him to have a confident stance. So I think it's important to know that my head's down and I'm looking at myself almost in not confidence, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to say insecurity, because I don't think that's what I want it to convey, but just looking at I've done to myself by carving myself out in what I wanted to be perfection, but actually it's not perfection. I actually harmed myself in the process. So I think that'll be easier to look at and understand once actual fragments are in there and the statue's done. So what I like to do when I create like an art or like a song is I like look at Pinterest or like a video of some sort that kind of has like the aesthetic, because I'm a very aesthetic oriented person. I look at images or just like a vibe that I want to talk about, and I will, and I make that into the art. So I do this with a lot of art, not super seriously with aesthetics, like the last animal projects that I've done for the AP art, which I need to film a video for actually. I didn't really focus on aesthetics that much. All of my art moving forward, all of my songs moving forward, I want to be aesthetic oriented. So it's important to convey in my art. So I actually looked at like Pinterest for like statue art, for like blue vibes, like that kind of thing. And so I'm gonna try to like put it somehow into that art and the future art that'll eventually become a like project kind of. But that is basically most of my thought process for David, my upcoming song project and art project. Something that I keep stressing a lot about trying to be perfect, which is actually what this is about, and trying to just become like professional in both that and songwriting, and just rushing myself into something that I've never done before and I'm obviously not going to be perfect at. And it's really hard because if you're someone like me who's a real big like perfectionist, and how much they achieve or how hard they try, and you're still just really hard on yourself, it's important to kind of take a step back and go into the yard or do something that kind of brings you back to why you're doing it. Because I feel like not just in this, but like in other things, you want something so bad, but when you get it, it's like, oh, that didn't really do that much for me as I thought it would. I don't want that to be how I view my passions, and I don't think you do either. So I would just say do like kind of what I did, or do something that kind of brings you back to why you're doing it, and don't rush yourself into that. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. It was fun and short and just cool. I think I'm gonna be posting more now that it's summer, so probably like 2 YouTube videos a week, and I might start posting on TikTok as well, which scares me, but I think I need to do it. So hopefully I'll get you guys some more like song stuff. Like I said, I've been kind of taking a break, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next week. Bye.